Well, judging from the reaction yesterday of you guys watching me prune up my snowball viburnum, you can see it there in the distance. You guys really like to see me working in the garden. But today I am just going to do a YouTube Garden Daily Walkabout, a little garden tour, because it is 100% humidity out right now, even though there's no rain in the forecast. And I want to give you just a few updates, because as soon as I film this, I am going to water and then I'm going to run inside. I've got lots of work to do at my desk. One of them is finalizing a bunch of stuff to launch my video on demand channel, LVTV, which will hopefully be activated by around August 1st. And I'm getting ready to shoot a video tomorrow explaining what that is and how it differs from YouTube and from Instagram. But for today, I digress. Let me show you, because so many of you asked for a before and after of this space, and you'll notice that I've got a little bit more congestion reduction to do over here on that step. I'm going to take away one of those plants and rearrange those. But for the most part, this bistro area here looks much better than it did. I cleaned out that area yesterday. You all were so kind to help me. You watched me, and it is so much more open now and less buggy, and there's fresh water in the bird bath. And I excavated a couple of stones that you can see right there. They're really large pieces of flagstone that are just beautiful in their own right. They are inherently beautiful, and I'm going to use those someplace else. But I put up some plants. A number of you asked me about where I bought this, I think you think it's wrought iron, branch hanger on the fence, and that's actually just a beautiful piece of wood that I spray painted black. And that's a wrought iron lantern with a wrought iron hanger that's there on the fence. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Sorry, the light's not very good. But it's another example of just finding beauty in nature. But there's the purdy after I pruned that all up. Somebody, was it Jean, was antsy for me to prune that one long branch back. And I came back out and I looked at it again, and I could see her point, but then I decided that I kind of liked the way it arched over the bird bath. So I decided to keep it. I know, my brain works in weird and wonderful ways. So again, it's just, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's all about the heat this time of year, because let's face it, this is the South. But honestly, I blame too much of it on living in the South, because so many of you from around the country have told me about the blistering heat and how hot it is in Ohio and up in New England and in the Pacific Northwest even. So it's just the summer doldrums. There's no getting around it. Summer is not my favorite time of year, despite the fact that I do love gardening. But for me, it just becomes very oppressive, and it chases me inside, and I find that difficult when it looks from a distance like it's so beautiful outside, and then you get out and it's just horrifically hot. It's one of the reasons I love topiary, though, because especially my myrtle topiaries, it's when they are at their best, because even though I don't like the heat, they do. And it's fun for me to bring them inside and play with them, and they're so responsive and appreciative of all of the clipping and the feeding. And you can see, even though there's just a bit of sun out here this morning, that this is the area that gets the most sun in my yard. Let me see if I can zoom in there. And they're out in the full brunt of it on that table. This is hobby gardening. It's not necessarily landscape gardening. but I am starting to experiment with some different shapes and some different techniques, and I am probably on LVTV going to do a whole bunch about myrtle topiary, my obsession with it. Okay, here's some foreshadowing. This gorgeous wisteria right here. Good morning, cardinals. This beautiful, did I say wisteria? I meant to say weigela. Here is the area I'm going to tackle next. And I'm going to show you, you can see I've already limbed it up so some things can grow underneath it. I love the color echo between that coneflower and those flowers. And I also like the way it blooms very heavily in early spring, and then it still puts out some more blooms. But you can see that area back in there is dark and foreboding and messy. And guess what? I am going to clean that area up, and I will show you, because I think it's already starting to adopt this shape of kind of a tight umbrella. And I may exaggerate that a bit more so that I have room underneath. I've got some, I think you guys perhaps saw me plant some Brex dahlias that are starting to really put on some height. They too like the heat. But this area, it just needs a cleanup. And even though my garden is small, it's manageable, and it certainly gives me, I think, enough material for me to do these with you guys, and hopefully you don't feel that they're redundant. Another segment I want to do coming up is shopping my garden, and how I dig up volunteers and try to use them in interesting ways. So that will be coming up. Yes, it's Monday morning. The blowers are out. There are so many different versions of heroes. Obviously, our healthcare workers, all of essential employees, anybody who is just getting out there and braving it all. And that includes people who do work that we sometimes just find unpleasant. Yard work, mowing, blowing, getting on hot rooftops. I am so appreciative of anyone who does that kind of service work, and I consider it to be service work. So far, the boxwood is sloughing off the heat, and I don't really see any signs of browning too much. Look at those very, very pretty dill heads on there, you guys. I think I am going to make a raida, I'm not sure that that's the correct pronunciation, yogurt salad for tonight with cucumbers and dill, garlic, some mint, some Greek yogurt, inspired by a hankering for some Indian food. So now that I have given you guys a little daily garden tour, I think I'm going to water and go inside. Look at the figs there. That's another upcoming episode. That cute little chicken wire hanging basket, that came from Gardener's Supply, and I had some lettuce planted in it. And now it's just, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. It's just hanging there. I like it. So you guys be careful in this heat. If you have specific ways that you treat yourself for being brave enough to get out in these torrid temperatures, let me know how you treat yourselves, because I think we all deserve them. Little special garden treats. Have a great Monday, you guys.